Hello and welcome to my space here, you beautiful souls. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever and whenever you are. I'm Ashley, and today I am going to be doing the extended reading for my weekly Tarot Tuesday guidance and energy update. So if you're here from reading the blog, then thank you for being here. If you happen to just find this video randomly, then thank you for being here as well. And just know that this is intended for the week of the 27th of July, the 28th of July through August 3rd. But if you come across this at any time, just know that this is still meant for you. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. A few things I like to start off with is to trust your own intuition above all else, above my guidance, and to come here with an open heart and an open mind, and to also know that gender does not apply here. So I'm non-binary. I don't really do the gender roles thing, but I do use sometimes like he or she, like those pronouns, but just to simplify or to try to make it a little bit more easier for you to process, I guess. So yeah, just stay open-minded, and let's go ahead and start by taking a deep breath together in through the nose. Nice and slowly out the mouth. This helps to center us, ground us to the earth. As you see, I am reading outside today. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I encourage you to get outside, to connect with earth, to connect with nature, and to come back to the stillness. So with that being said, if you read the blog, if you haven't, the cards I have pulled for the week, what we need to know, and soon I'll get into the extended what we're not seeing clearly and what the advice is for this week. So first of all, what we need to know is the Five of Cups. So generally this is a card of regret, despair, sadness, grief, loss. It's kind of like a very unpleasant energy emotionally. It can feel like stagnant, or it can feel, I'm picking up on a lot of people maybe feeling like depressed, or experiencing some kind of loss in your life. This could be loss like of a loved one. This could be like you could just feel like super lost right now. A lot of people are maybe like being emotionally, like I was picking up that like your heart is being cleansed of old pain, and so this old pain is going to come up, and it's going to be coming up to be released. It's not what's actually happening right now, because what I pulled to clarify the Five of Cups was this imagine in reverse. And when imagine comes in reverse, it's telling us that we may be like too caught up in our illusions, that we're awfulizing future events because of past pain we've experienced. And what can happen is when we're using our imagination to envision like the worst case scenario, or to replay scenarios of pain or hurt or heartbreak that we've experienced in the past, that you're wasting your imagination. And what Spirit was telling me is to really envision what you do want, rather than focusing on what you're losing. Because traditionally in the Five of Cups, like the traditional tarot, there's a man and he's standing and he's looking at the three cups that have spilled in front of him, but he doesn't see the two cups that are behind him that are still standing and full. So what I was picking up right away is this energy of like, whatever you're losing, try to focus on what you might be gaining. Like you might be gaining self-awareness, you might be losing stuff in your life as a way to open up more space, because I was picking up on this beautiful energy of expansion and allowing more love in, allowing more light in, allowing more healing energy in. But that can only happen when we allow ourselves to be broken open, when we allow ourselves to be ripped apart. And that's when it can be really uncomfortable and really painful. And what we tend to want to do is to avoid that at all costs. So a lot of us have been taught to avoid our emotions, to deny them, to reject them, to not share them, or to not meet them with kindness. But we kind of get really hard on ourselves in those times, instead of like nurturing ourselves. And on this card, this duck kind of like reminded me of this very nurturing energy. In this deck, all the cups have spilled, and to me, I was getting this energy of like really connecting to your own self-care. And what I was picking up on is that there's this feeling of like separation And what I was picking up right away is that separation is an illusion, and we actually allow ourselves to move into our heart spaces, because a lot of us are avoiding our hearts. Like, we're very logical, we're taught to be in this very like masculine or this very yang energy, and we're not taught to be in our emotions. We're not taught to trust our emotions. We're like, fuck those, like they're not helpful to us, but really they allow us to move through life with a lot more ease. Because right now I'm picking up on a lot of stagnation, people feeling stuck, feeling trapped, feeling bound, and it is your birthright to be free. It is your birthright to feel good in your body. And I'm not saying that you're not always going to feel good, because awakening and the spiritual path of ascension is not all light, it's not all love, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's actually immense, deep, dark pain. So you might be experiencing a dark night of the soul. And this is when every one of our fears are going to come to the surface, and instead of seeing them as what is happening presently and right now, we have to see beyond the illusion, and we have to transmute that darkness or transmute that fear with energies of love and kindness and compassion. And when we can be that way towards ourselves, we really begin to transmute this energy. And I was picking up on this energy of like wanting to like create shortcuts, or and spirit was, I have to share this this vision, because I was picking up on, you know, you're receiving intuitive guidance from your third eye chakra, and you're being spiritually guided, but we can only be spiritually guided when we're in our heart space and when we're connected to our emotions. But like I said, we've been taught to deny those emotions. So I was picking up, I saw this vision of like a labyrinth. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but it's like a maze. And there's so many of us have been taught to like take the easy way out. And so every time like hard or challenging emotions come up, we want to kind of like bypass them. We're like, no, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to do the good parts. I just want to feel good, you know? And so a lot of times we'll feel this energy of depression and this sadness, but we'll mask it with like a fake smile, or we'll like pretend to be really happy, especially to other people. But then maybe when we're alone, we feel these deep feelings of despair and loneliness, and they can spiral into, you know, suicidal thoughts. It can spiral into anxiety. You could, you know, be caught up in addictions, and these are all fears that are keeping you from actually tapping into the healing powers of love. So instead of like, I saw this vision of like a rat in a maze, and when it gets to this like dead end, and this might be like this feeling of stagnancy is like a dead end. It's telling you, spirit is saying like, you're feeling trapped and you're feeling stuck because you're trying to push against what is meant for you. And so we may want our lives to look a certain way because we've been taught through society that it has to look a certain way, or we've been taught through our parents to behave in a certain way to gain their approval and to be accepted and to fit in, and we deny our truth. And so I see this rat, and it gets to this like dead end, and instead of like finding its way through, it tries to like, I'm seeing it like try to cut a hole or chew a hole to try to make this shortcut. So, but there's no shortcuts, guys. There's no shortcuts to this. Like, we have to really, the spirit says the only way out is through, and that sucks. But if you allow your emotions to carry you, they kind of act as like a life vest, and they kind of help you float. But if you're pushing against them and you're like, I don't want to deal with you, then they're gonna you're going to create a lot of resistance, and this can create a lot of tension in your body. It can create illness, it can create disease. I was also picking up on the throat chakra here, and fears of speaking your truth, fears of using your voice, which could stem from past lifetimes or even this lifetime when you spoke up or used your voice and it was denied. Or there's like fears of being seen, fears of being heard, fears of being different and weird, fears of being sad. It's like people think that like if you're sad, there's something wrong with you, and my spirit guides always tell me this: sad does not equal bad. And so we have to allow ourselves to feel our sadness, because when we feel our sadness, the contrast of sadness, so there's always a higher vibrational feeling and experience to a lower based emotion. So we couldn't experience bliss and happiness without knowing what pain is, without knowing what grief and loss is. And so we have to really begin to shift our perspective on what it means, what like sadness is teaching us, and to really use our sadness as a way to expand our heart center. So that's what I was picking up. That's what we need to know this week, is that I was picking up on this energy of like some emotional debris coming to the surface just to be seen. It doesn't mean that it's like things are terrible and happening and like things are working against you. It just means that you're clearing more space energetically to receive the new, because this might feel like an ending, but really actually it's a beginning. And if you could, like I was picking up on the energy of the rainbow, so you might be seeing rainbows as messages, as like hope is here, like there's just like a lot of things happening in society, like our social and our political structures are kind of crumbling, our belief systems are being like upgraded, and so we're having this massive shift, like this planetary shift is happening, and it's only natural to feel grief of loss of your old self, loss of your own identity. That's what I was picking up on this, and this loss of your sense of self. And so we can feel very lost when we're like, who am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Those are great questions to ask yourself, because that is what will propel you into healing. That is what will propel you into expansion. And that's what will propel you into living a heart-centered life. And I think that's what we're learning how to do, is to live more heart-centered so that we can be more empathetic. And I was picking up on this energy of the spirit of the birds. So you might be seeing birds, hawks, cardinals, robins, eagles, ravens, crows, like geese, like all different kinds of ducks all different kinds of birds are here to help us, one, to see from a higher perspective, and two, to use our voice to make a difference, use our voice to heal ourselves, use our voice to speak kindly to ourselves. Because it's my theory that if we were, especially politically, think about this, what if we could solve our world's problems with fucking healthy communication? Instead of war, instead of suppression, instead of oppression, like, we could really use our voice to seriously make a difference in the world. And so many of us have fears of like persecution, or fears of like, maybe we were punished a lot for using our voices, or we weren't allowed to have an opinion. And what's really happening now is we're being asked to shift our beliefs and to believe in our own power to create a beautiful, beautiful reality and a beautiful world, not just for ourselves but for humanity in general. Because as we shift collectively, there's a lot of empaths that are awakening, there's a lot of light workers that are awakening, and your mission here is so valuable. But what's happening is you can get caught up in the world's collective energy, which is this grief and this loss. And if you don't implement boundaries, if you don't implement self-care, and you take care of your beautiful gifts of sensitivity, your sensitivity is not a curse. Your sensitivity is a beautiful gift, and you can really use it to transform your own life and the lives of others. But so many of us are taught to, abandon that part of ourselves. And then we suffer because we feel like victims to our emotions. We feel like victims to life, rather than owning our power, rather than owning our emotions and using them to guide us. Our emotions are our emotional guidance system. And when we follow our hearts, we're following the highest aspect of ourselves. We're connecting to Source. And Source always wants the best for us. God always wants the best for us. He is not doing anything to you. Everything that you're creating in your life is based on your own perception of life. Maybe you believe love is lacking. Maybe you believe love is scarce. Maybe you believe money is scarce. Maybe you believe all these things that aren't necessarily true, but you were raised to believe these things. So we have to really look at our conditioning and begin to, a lot of people are like going to their coping mechanisms of addiction, which could be anything. It could be like distracting yourself with social media. It could be drinking. It could be doing drugs. It could be shopping or gambling, whatever. To each their own. We all have our own little things that we've been taught, and you have to look at your addictions as coping mechanisms. That's how you learn to cope with life, especially as a child, that maybe you felt really emotionally out of control. So when we start to take control over our emotions by regulating ourselves and coping in new healthy ways, then we feel this sense of power and this sense of control over our lives again, and we don't feel like life is happening to us. We feel like we are creating it. We feel like life is full of love and abundance and opportunity to grow and to know ourselves more deeply. So with that being said, let's get into what we're not seeing clearly this week, as I've rambled and rambled and rambled, but there's so many messages. So be sure to check out the blog. I'll leave the link below. There's probably more messages in there for you. So because I was picking up on messages from Archangel Metatron. So check that out if you would like. Spirit. So what are we not seeing clearly right now? What's going on behind the scenes? Okay, love this. This makes so much sense. The Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles represents to me the green sticks out right away. I was picking up on self-care, and that's the Queen of Pentacles to me, is self-care. This is also about empowerment. This is about the physical world, feeling strong in your body. This is about health, taking care of your health. And the Queen of Pentacles is like the physical realm, so really taking care of your body is what I was picking up on. Treating your body with respect, because I was picking up that in my blog too. It's like some of us are suffering from like self-esteem, like low self-esteem or body image issues, because we've allowed our inner vision to be distorted by the world, or maybe distorted by our parents, and we may be denying like our most valuable aspects of ourselves because they weren't accepted maybe by society, or they weren't accepted by our peers or our parents. And so when we start to live in alignment with our values, then man, things start to shift, and you feel this sense of like openness, and you just feel this sense of abundance, and you feel like life is working for you, like you're meant to be here, you have value here, like you have purpose here. And that's I love the kangaroo, so the kangaroo might be a message here for you. I'm also picking up on like maternal energy. You know how the kangaroos carry their little babies in their pouch? I love that. So this is like saying to nurture yourself, in my opinion, to like be that mother to yourself. The Queen of Pentacles to me is like the most nurturing. She's patient, she's kind, she's loving, she's gentle. Did I mention patience? Because that's kind of the energy I'm picking up here, is that we may like, and especially if we're experiencing this Five of Cups, can we be that nurturer, that provider for ourselves in our horrible, awful, deepest, darkest times? Can we, nurture ourselves out of these times? Because these hard times are never going to go away. We're always going to experience more challenge. We're always going to experience difficulty, but that's how we grow. That's how we expand. That's how boring would life be if we didn't experience hardship? We wouldn't ever get to know ourselves better. And I think that's the whole purpose of coming here on this earth plane, is to learn. It's a school to me. So this could be like, think of like a school teacher, or like the nurturer, or the healer, or the coach, or the teacher. I don't know if I already said that, but yeah, this energy, it's like a very maternal, mothering energy. And maybe you didn't have a very nurturing mother. Maybe when you were experiencing these low times, you were shunned, or you were punished, or you were just like, somebody wasn't there to connect you and make you feel close. And when we're in those deepest, darkest times, that's when we need connection the most, in my opinion. So instead of like abandoning yourself, this is saying to me like, be there for yourself, show up for yourself, give yourself the love that you need, that maybe you never received. And this can really shift your whole mindset, and it'll shift your energy, and you'll begin to feel this sense of, like I said, empowerment, and you'll begin to feel this energy of self-love. And and I love that she's wearing a crown. I'm just getting this, very nurturing energy. So that's the Queen of Pentacles. Let's get a clarifier there. What are we not seeing clearly with the Queen of Pentacles, Spirit? Okay, we got co-create in the reverse, so this is number 40, or 4, which 4 to me always represents like stability and security, and like that energy of home. So I'm picking up on this energy of like becoming your own home. Like I was picking up on the energy of like feeling lost. Who am I? Like, why am I here? And this is like when we begin to show up for ourselves, we begin to heal this energy of like feeling lost or feeling like abandoned. And we begin to feel this sense of like, think of nature, because it's Mother Nature I'm picking up with this card, especially with the green. Like, she helps you to feel really stable, to feel secure, to feel abundant and prosperous, and it's your birthright to feel that way. So co-create in the reverse, I'm going to read this to you, but here's another winged creature, which would be an owl, which tells us to trust our intuition, which I was kind of picking up on with this imagine in reverse. Like, instead of creating like self-fulfilling prophecies of like lack and loss, by constantly thinking like we're going to be abandoned, or we're going to be left, or there's not enough for us to go around. It's saying to, well, especially with the cheetah here, so there's a cat too, like persevering, like going the distance, and co-creating the life you desire. So let's read this here, because I want to see what it means in reverse. Okay, it says, you are trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing, vital force of spirit. Perhaps you are in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, facing a monumental task, but unable to decide on your first step. So you just avoid doing anything. Does the word overwhelmed apply to you right now? Why do you think it all has to come down to you? Inspiration means the drawing in of divine guidance. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. Two minds are greater than one, so co-create with your divine partner. Reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way. I love that. I was totally feeling that, like, nurturing yourself, one, because you have to face your fears. You're going to experience so many fears and so many doubts and so many blockages are going to come up, especially if you're moving in the direction of your heart. If you're following your divine guidance, you're always going to meet opposition. You're going to meet resistance. But can you face it with this sense of nurturing and knowing that you're not alone? You're never alone. Spirit is always there to help you. They're always there. And this even confirmed it. Like, spirit is always working for you. They're always working with you. But when we abandon our heart space and we abandon our emotions, we feel this sense of deep disconnect, and it creates depression, and it creates a sense of loneliness. And what that teaches me, in my opinion, when we're depressed, what it's teaching you is how to return to your faith, to return to hope, and I think all of us need a little bit more hope right now, and it's kind of our responsibility to tap into that aspect of us that is infinite and eternal, to give us that sense of hope and to give us that sense of faith that helps us keep moving forward and facing life's challenges with grace. And that's kind of the Queen of Pentacles, is this energy of grace, this energy of she accepts everything as it is. She doesn't rush. Think of nature. There's no need to force. And I think that's what this card even said. There's no need to force. You can allow yourself to relax into the energies of Earth and allow her to support you. We have this idea that we have to push against things, and the Queen of Pentacles tells us to go with the seasons, to go with the flow, kind of. Alright, let's see here. Let's get your advice for the week. So I think what we're not seeing clearly is that we're learning that we're not alone, that we're never truly alone. When we reconnect with our spirit and our emotions, we feel that sense of stability and support from spirit. And then we can co-create what we desire. Okay, oh whoops, wrong deck. Okay, what is your advice for us this week, Spirit? Eat more greens. I'm picking up on Archangel Raphael right now as I'm looking at this Queen of Pentacles card. Get lots of exercise. Ground your energy. Do things outside. What is your advice for us right now? Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. So this is confusion. This is kind of the energy of feeling lost, not knowing which direction to go in. There's lots of options. And this goes back to that card that was saying, do you feel overwhelmed? This is feeling overwhelmed. This is having a lot of options and not knowing where to begin, kind of like that co-creation card was saying. So that's very interesting. I want to get a clarifier before I dive in deeper to that, because the Seven of Cups, yeah, it's just this energy of confusion. Alright, Spirit, what's your advice with the Seven of Cups? You've been giving this energy of frustration. Okay, so we have why, and I'll read this one to you. And I think this is the perfect card, actually. Why do you want the things you want? Why? That's a great question. Getting curious, and to me, curiosity kills the ego. So every time you feel overwhelmed, or you feel stuck, or you feel a lot of anxiety, begin to ask yourself why. Let's read this. And this is also a 4 card, so 3 plus 1 is 4. More stability, and that's totally Queen of Pentacles, so 31. Motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. There is great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for this answer, behaving in this way, and most important, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience, and when you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. The invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. Okay, that's very interesting. And I love that because I was picking up on this energy with the Queen of Pentacles, like growing, and we have to tend to ourselves. We have to tend to our emotions. So I think this is really important about asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? And like digging deeper beyond the surface, because look what's under the deck here. All that glitters in reverse. Number 16 or 7. And I actually want to read this one to you too, because I think it has an important message. This is like the underlying energy. So this says, this is a signal to walk away from what you're contemplating. There is a thin veneer of glitter and sparkle that masks something rotten underneath. Pursuing it will only bring about a difficult situation you'll be sorry you got yourself into. Stay away. Isn't it wonderful how Spirit protects you? Better things await. So sometimes we think like things are being denied to us, or we think we're losing something, but to me, rejection is God's protection. And maybe what we want for ourselves isn't what's meant for us. And this is where I was kind of getting into that. Like we kind of do things that our parents want us to do, or what society expects of us. We abandon our truth because we don't know our why. We don't know our values. And when we don't know our values, how can we act from them? And how can we ever receive what we want if we're not living in alignment with our values? And I think it's just, that's what's happening, is there's a shift in values happening. And like, what do you value? For me, like my number one thing that I value is my health, because I know that I can't show up for the world. I can't show up for my potential clients. I can't show up for my children. I couldn't show up for my potential partner without taking care of me, without showing up for myself, without, and then you have to live in alignment with those values. You can't say that your health is your number one value and then neglect your health, So you have to figure out what your values are, and then live in alignment with them. And as you do that, then you're co-creating. You're co-creating from this space of truth, from like authenticity, and I think that's very important. So, and then underneath this deck was the Six of Swords, another bird, so I like that. But this is like moving away from conflict, moving away from mental pain or mental stagnation. Okay, that's very interesting, Spirit. Thank you for your advice. And then we're going to get one more from the Chakra Insights to get an overall message, and this is how I will end the reading. So we can go ahead and like set a little intention or ask a question. Just hold that, but I do set the intention that you reach whatever is meant for you. Okay, Spirit. What is the overall message for us this week? Okay, we have seeing, and I love that there's a hawk on this card. It says perspective, truth, knowledge, clarity. There's a third eye on the card, which represents the third eye chakra, and I was picking up on Archangel Metatron, so I love that. Alright, let's read this here. Number 37 or 10, that might be significant to you in some way. Look with new eyes upon the world you are creating. Expand your view and your whole reality will grow with it. This card is an invitation to seek new knowledge and expand your perception of reality. See yourself and other people as spiritual beings on a journey. Recognize the patterns that are playing out in your life and the role you play, or could play, in the world. Take pleasure in being part of the ongoing development of the universal consciousness. Enjoy the process of gradually learning about your place in the world. Through introspection, we grow to understand ourselves. We also begin to see other people, situations, and the world with a more expanded sense of clarity. Now is a great time for self-reflection, journaling, meditation, for looking within. Ask yourself to reveal a higher view of your path. And that's what I was picking up on. A lot of people are so immersed in their own pain and their own wounding that they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, And so this can make them feel very trapped or stuck in some way. Like they're trying to get out of it. They want to skip over the hard times. Be willing to let go of restricted ways of seeing things. Be open to not knowing and not understanding some things. Like, don't try to understand your emotions. Don't try to logically understand them. Just let them flow through you like water or the clouds. Acknowledge new ideas, slowly allowing yourself to evolve and your place in the world to unfold. It is time to see beyond all preconceived limitations to the deeper truth within. Be present in the physical, but see beyond it. That's totally this, like all that glitters. Oh, and I'll have to show you what's underneath the deck there. Look for the positive and the good in all people and situations, even amidst seeming imperfection. Look for the beauty in life, and it will reveal itself in and to you. Take a fresh look at yourself and the world you are creating. Seek deeper meaning and underlying truth. Open yourself to the eagle's view, seeing both the bigger picture and the finest detail from great heights. Call upon your inner eye to see the highest truth. Yes, I love that. So there's this energy of like ascending, like seeing from a higher perspective. And when you begin to like detach from your emotions and you don't identify yourself with the emotions that you're feeling, just because you're feeling sad or just because you're feeling angry or feeling stuck does not mean that's who you are. It doesn't mean that's where you're going to be forever. Like, pain is temporary, and when you begin to rise above it, it no longer has such a tight hold over you. And guys, look what was underneath all that glitters. Orphaned. Exactly. And this is the number 5 card. This is a card of change, and this orphan card is like about being abandoned, and it feels like that's like the fear. It's like, if I show my true self, if I express more of who I am, if I express my emotions, then I'm going to be abandoned or I'm going to be rejected. And so then we keep all these things stuck inside, and when we don't express ourselves, like I said, we create disease in our bodies, and we just feel this energy of like constriction, and we feel bound, and our birthright is freedom. So that's the overall message for the week, is to see things from a higher perspective, and then you can let go of, what you think you know, and allow things to just be this week, and allow yourself to open up to the benevolent energies of the universe to guide you. So I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can definitely do that. I'll leave all the information below, and I'm sending you so much love. I'll be back next week. Take care.